Welcome to today's daily recap, March 9th, 2021. We'll be going over GJ, GA, EJ, and gold. But yeah, let's start off with GJ. GJ wasn't the cleanest, but we still got to move in. We'll rewind it back to London Open, or we'll just go back before that. So watching GJ was above this daily supply zone, right? It was floating above this daily supply zone. So we were looking for some sort of higher low for possible continuation, right? And it had created an intraday high at 151.2 area, right? So for buys, we need some shit like this to happen, right? We need a higher low to be created at a significant price level, possibly a PPL. And what we saw happen was, this is 3 a.m., right? 3 a.m. price pushed up, price pushed down. And as you can see, it didn't leave a wick on the hour candle. There was no lower wick. So once it pushed down, I took buys right here. Because to me, that's a confirmation that it's a liquidity grab and the price is going to push up to at least make that upper wick and possibly keep pushing up. But that didn't happen. So I took profit at 151.117, as you can see, right? It didn't continue up, but later on, once it tapped 800, right? This area right here, market structure, into the market structure, it lined up perfectly. And then if we play that, and then it pushed up, right? So it did complete that entire buy range up till 200. Although it happened a bit later, these little moves were telling us, indicating to us that, yeah, buying pressure is still there, right? Even before, during pre-London, we pushed up, not enough order flow to keep going. Same as here. And then once we finally got down to 800, tapped it, lower time frame structure shifted. You can also draw like a intraday trend line, like a lower time frame trend line. See break of it, right? Higher lows being formed. And then it continued up to this area, right? Created a higher high. So in this case, you didn't have to take buys here. If you wanted to wait, 800 would have been the better trade. I was done here. It was 20 pips on one position and then 11 on the other. Not the greatest, but nevertheless. So entries possibly here, and then your take profit would have been 151.2, 37 pips. Stop loss right below. That's a 1 to 7 risk reward setup, right? Because you know the wick is below here. So it's possible that it could still go lower, but I'm willing to have my stop loss here because it is below the lower wick. And then if you look at it, you would be entering on the higher low, right? Higher low gets formed, he's pushing. And then once this structure here breaks, right? We get this break of structure right here. You can see this retest, higher low being formed, higher low, and then pushes up, right? So this was, it happened by 9 a.m. Eastern. You should have taken profit as 200 was hit. 1 to 7 risk reward on GJ, right? Moving on to GBPAUD. This was, in my opinion, the best setup of the night. Just gonna remove this. So what happened was, it was at 4-hour supply, right? And what we saw happen was market rejected 4-hour supply during Asian session, right? So that was an indication that, yeah, we did respect the supply for now. So if we were going to get some sort of pullback, that maybe we would react to this level and we would set up for further sells down, right? And where could we aim for is our next demand level, which was right here at 1.800, right? Perfect, lined up with round numbers. And then we had our next demand over here. These are super clean on like the 30 minutes. So you can check like right here, right? So what happened was, price came down after rejecting this supply level. And as you can see, lower time frame right now is creating bearish structure, right? Lower time frame creating bearish structure. So now you start thinking, we know that liquidity grabs happen during session opens. And then what we start to see happen is price starts pushing up. Now we got that new 4-hour candle open before 2 hours for London Open, price is pushing up. Boom, this is 2 a.m. Eastern, prime hour for liquidity grabs, right? Now we drop down to the lower time frame. What starts happening? And as you can see, it pulled up to this FTR zone, right? And that's how you narrow down exactly where it could reject from. There's price activity here, right? As you can see, when price was pushing down, it pulled back up for liquidity before pushing down again, right? So it's a high liquid area over here. There's a lot of orders waiting here, okay? Now we look at lower time frame. Now look what starts happening within this order block here is, okay, now we start seeing rejection. Wow, okay. Now, if we look at this accumulation, consolidation at resistance, right? You see, okay, we got a break of it right here. And then we start seeing, okay. So even if you missed an entry there, this right now, this price activity happening here was the lower high being formed, right? So best, most optimal entry would have been here with your target all the way to down to 1.800, right? And then your stop loss would have been above the high, which was 9 pips. Sure, 9, 10 pips. I should make it 10 pips, really round number. Okay, and then what starts happening is, one second. Oops. So what starts happening is, you know, that lower high gets formed. That lower high keeps forming, right? So you can take up your shorts there, and then boom, starts continuing down. Okay, now what happened? We got a break of this minor. We got a break of this minor level, right? This previous low, retest it, keep retesting it. Wow, perfect, right? Perfect market structure, still creating lower highs, lower lows being formed. Remember, this is still a big range. This is 80 pips, right? So, oh no, this is 90 pips. So it's gonna take us a while to get down there, but market structure, price does move from level to level, and perfect. It hit 800 right there. It did push lower, right? Push lower, and as you can see, perfect 1 to, what is this setup? This is a 1 to 8, 1 to 8.7, right? Lower high, we rejected our order block here, FTR, and then lower high, entries on the lower high. You'd barely have any drawdown. You'd literally have 2 pips worth of drawdown. This is such a high quality setup because this move up here was a liquidity grab. So you know that at least it's a high probability that we'd reach this level first, right? Which is 50 pips. You can secure some here. Let's say you secure 30% here, you get a break of it, you start retesting. Now you know, okay, where's the next possible level I can go to is, then our next level is down here, right? Maybe you can take profit here as well, right? Secure another 30%. Now you have 40% running, and then you can just secure the rest over here. You know, secure, let's say like 35% and then leave the 5% running. Maybe, who knows, price would come back here, right? But what happened was it rejected this level and then it pushed back up. So it's important to know where you're going to take profit. Here in this case, I would have scaled out. So scaled 30% here, 30% here, and then the rest here, and you possibly can leave a runner. Who knows, runner might even go down to here, or it could just stop you at a break even. But the fact that you scaled out is better than just securing all at this level, right? And it's better practice. So 1 to 8 on GA. Moving on to EG. This was the analysis I sent to the group, my group last night. Basically, and I even posted on I posted on Instagram to watch out for EJ, right? Because we had just closed below this daily level, right? So what we were looking for is daily to pull back and set up for better sells, right? And as you can see, it's a solid daily level right here. As you can see, every time we close below here, daily retests it and then pushes down. So this was our next level because there's a solid range right here, as you can see. So what EJ actually did was it messed around until 5 a.m. Eastern. So until then, it was just in the middle of the level. So there's no reason for us to be even entering anything, because at times we can see market can be deceiving, right? As you can see, it's setting up for sell, doesn't push down, then sets up for buys. But these are just like, these aren't the actual moves. This is just move for liquidity. And like people selling here, right? People buying here, selling, more selling over here. People see these wicks start selling again, thinking it's gonna go down, but there's no reason to take the trade because it's not near our level, right? Over here, if you're selling here, that's still a solid like 20 pips away from our level. So unless you want to hold 20 pips of drawdown and hope that it reverses from here, you should enter. But other than that, as you can see, it pulled up near our level exactly as I analyzed it. And then we're expecting it to push down to our next high time frame level. Although it didn't happen, it's still on route to go there. But essentially dropping on a lower time frame. Once it rejected here, create a lower high. This is the most optimal entry, okay? Entries here. You just need to know what to look for, okay? So entries here, stop loss above here, 5 pips, right? And then you can scale down. You could even take profit here first because this is the previous low, right? So you know it's solid market structure, so it makes sense to take profit there, and then you can just leave a runner. EG is a little slower, so you need to know when to take profit and what to expect from it. It's not going to move as much as GA, gold, or GJ, but it pays more than like GJ. So like these 20 pips is worth like fucking 35, 40 pips on GJ, right? And it created a new low, so it's on route to reach this level, right? And then if we look at daily, it's on route to reach here. If we look at daily, if it breaks here, where's our next level it can go to? It's like down here, right? So, and it could create that lower, it could create that new low, but we'd have to break past the previous low, right? Breaks, creates a new low, and then pushes down. So you could watch for something like that to happen, like this, and push down, right? So actively only trade EJ when it's at these levels, or anything. You're better off trading them when it's actively reacting to the levels, right? Such as in this case, it actively came, it pushed up for here to liquidity and then reacted to, although it didn't touch it, it was still close enough, right? It's 4 pips away, and I'm willing to take the entry. If you didn't enter here, you can enter on this 15-minute lower high, right? Which is still a nice entry because it's solid and it's showing you that, yeah, market structure is shifting, and then we're gonna continue down. It's shifting from the bullish, short-term bullish push-up that we got for liquidity. So another solid 1 to 7, 1 to 5 setup. Moving on to gold. Gold completed its move after breaking past 1760. Once we got that break, we knew the next higher time frame level it was going to reach was this demand area right here, right? 1670s, 1680s. So once that did happen, remember yesterday we talked about how we might see gold pull back. Not sure how much it would pull back, but we definitely see it pull back because once gold does that, it plays ping pong, right? You can just play ping pong on gold. So tap below here and then started closing above 1680. We got higher lows being formed, right? Market structure shifting momentarily, so intraday shifting, right? This is leading into pre-London, right? See this market structure here, right? During pre-London, markets started closing above here, right? So it was showing us, yeah, bullish pressure is coming on gold. So if you're looking for, you should not have been looking for sells because gold just dropped 1,000 pips, right? 800 to 1,000 pips. So, and market structure is now showing you that it's going bullish. So here, London Open, price retested this minor structure, set up for buys. So if you enter buys here, you can enter buys here. These were safe buys, right? High probability buys, your stop loss right below the previous wicks, 10 pips to be safe. And then you can first target, you can target 1700 because it is an active level that we saw get retested before, right? Lots of price activity here. And then it broke above 1700, went to 1704, created a higher high, retested 1700 perfectly, as how last time it retested 1700 when it was dropping, and then pushed up to 1711, came back down for New York Open, right? Liquidity grab, pushed up till 1717, 1720, which was the next level that we had. So if you did hold all the way, or if you just held till 1704, that's saw 1 to 8, up till 1711, 1 to 15, and then 1 to 20, right? So there's absolutely no reason for any of you to be taking 1-to-1s or 1-to-2s when the market gives out 1-to-20s, 1-to-7, 1-to-5, 1-to-8, right? And like 1-to-5 right here again. So there's no reason to be taking anything less than 1-to-4, at least minimum, right? Raise your standards, you know? A lot of people like consistency. You can become consistent by just increasing your risk reward setup. Like stop taking the 1-to-1s, right? You can have such a low win rate, and by taking 1-to-5 setups, you can just be so profitable. So yeah, that was gold. Gold, see, daily looks clean. Daily rejected right at 1680s, pushed up. Who knows, maybe gold will just consolidate, play ping pong for a bit before doing the next move, because we just did a solid move, right? So I'll just be waiting, but it just goes to show that 300 pips down the day before, 400 pips back up. And all you have to do is just follow market structure and not predict where it's going to start selling off from, because market structure currently is showing you that it's bullish, right? So there, you should not be looking for sells. If anything, buys over here, or better, buys over here. And then even buys here, because you know what, this move down is just a liquidity grab for New York, right? And then it pushed back up all the way to 1717, just level to level, structure to structure, play on gold on every single pair. But yeah, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a good day.